up, everybody? It's El Queso back with another video. If you haven't seen my last video, definitely check it out. What was it called? My Santeria Credentials Part 2. Forgive the little round thingies. I know every time I do this, there it is. I gotta get better lighting. I don't freaking know what to say. So today's episode, if you will, is I'm gonna be touching on something that I saw from a guy named, maybe you've heard of him. He was actually interviewed by Power 105. I don't know how many years ago or how recent, whatever. But this dude's a doctor, some religious scholar dude. I don't know. Dr. Umar Johnson. And I'm going to show some footage. Basically, like, there was a video where he is comparing or saying that the Orishas, or the African powers, as he calls them, were stolen by the white man when making superhero characters. In this particular instance, X-Men, and he talks about Aquaman, which is DC, whatever. But basically, comic book heroes being stolen, these personalities and these characters, these fictional characters, were inspired and stolen from the Orisha and the Loa and whatnot. I commented, and I have the comment here, but I want to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so check this out.
I'll say powers. Right. Okay, so the X-Men were based on the descriptions of the African powers. So Logan, who is Wolverine, that is the stolen energy from Ogun, the god of metal. Ogun carries 3 machetes in each hand. Wolverine, when he gets upset, he gets 3 machetes on each hand. And the name Logan itself actually reveals evidence from whence they stole the idea, because when you drop the L off Logan, you get Ogan, O-G-A-N. You turn the A to a U, you get Ogun, which is the god of metal in Africa. I'm actually a child of Ogun.
You serious?
Very Storm. Storm was stolen from the African power Oya. Oya is the feminine energy of the wind, the hurricane, the tornado. She's the bringer of change, and she's also the carrier of the ancestors. So Storm was stolen from Oya. Thor was stolen from Shango, the most popular of all the Orisha, or the powers of the West, from the West African spiritual system called Ifa, practiced by the Yoruba. Thor's colors are red and gold. Shango's colors are red and gold. Thor's element is thunder. Shango's element is thunder. Thor carries a double-sided axe. Shango carries a double-sided axe. Aquaman is Olokun. And we can go on and on and on. But all of the X-Men and the Marvel comic heroes, most of them are nothing but the stolen gods of Africa, given a different name and turned into white men and white women.
Well, they steal most of our stuff.
Yes.
So that ain't no surprise.
Yes.
Very funny. This is just hot garbage. Straight hot garbage. If you took this hot garbage, threw it back in the garbage would throw up.
So you already know how I feel about this video. I think it is a load of straight doodle. They're completely unsubstantiated claims. But I did. I commented on the video. I know he's not going to see it, but apparently he's a well-respected guy in the Orisha world. I don't know if he's looking at me. Shit. That don't make me no difference. We're talking about this guy making claims that the Orisha and the African spirits have been stolen by the white man to create characters, superhero characters, to which I responded in the comments below of that video. And it hasn't gotten any comments back or anything. This was like yesterday, and I said, I gotta cover this because this is too juicy. Okay, so I said, okay, I cannot be the only one rolling his eyes at this. You telling me Stan Lee, a white guy born in 1922 in New York, based a 1960s comic book characters or base characters on Orisha. Stanley wasn't checking for no damn African spirits. My dude is reaching hard to connect dots that ain't there. Logan is really Ogun. Thor is Chango. Aquaman is Olokun. Miss me with that crap. What was he supposed to do? Stanley, invent new colors, elements, and weather, and stop acting like the concept of breathing underwater or shooting fire out of your hands, or flying, or super strength, or super speed is some stolen secret. Every culture has variations of the same thing. Aquaman, Olokun, Yamaya, the Submariner, Mamiwata. What do they all have in common? They all breathe underwater and they can swim really, really good. But the white man did not steal the concept of super water powers. It's just a dope ass superpower. I wish I could breathe underwater. So what does that entail? That Obatala has been stolen and turned into Professor X.
The new kid played us, Freedom Pals. Wanting to join our side was a ruse.
That this...
Sweet baby Jesus. Wish I could jump in there and roll around in all that cascading white powder. Yeah, just get high in all of life's splendor. God, I love cocaine.
Is really this. And obviously the green from Orumila. Ifata de iboru iboya ibochi che.
But rather on a system of signs that are interpreted by a diviner, the Ifa priest or Babalawu, literally the priest's father,
has been stolen and turned into this.
Puny God.
You have to be willfully and woefully blind to not see these stolen identities and characteristics when you look at this. Really came from. So, pretty crazy stuff, okay? So, I go on to say, ain't no one steal nothing. Thor, Odin, Freya of the Nordic pantheon of gods, or Zeus, Ares, Athena of the Greeks, or Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, Mercury of the Romans, you know, that pantheon, are just as ancient as the Orisha and the Loa. Them being white does not make them any less legit or mean that anyone stole anything. You know, I go on to say the Hindu deities, the Chinese gods of Taoism, the Mayan gods, the Yoruba, Orisha, the Kami spirits of Shinto and Japan, the Loa of Benin, the gods of Egypt, the Nordic gods, the Inca, the Jin spirits of the desert tribes, the Dramatic tribes, they had their fates. It doesn't mean that anyone stole anything from anyone. Most of these cultures, I try not to make sweeping statements, but most of these cultures never met each other. I'm willing to bet that a Scandinavian Viking guy that honored Thor never came in contact with a Yoruba land guy from Oyo honoring Chango. That's just a safe bet. And things like, oh, well, there's pyramids in Egypt and there's pyramids with the Mayans. Well, I mean, what are people supposed to do? Invent new shapes? You know, mankind did not invent the triangle or the circle or the rectangle. These are things we find in nature. So this, okay, it seems like a practical thing to just build with a bunch of rocks. I mean, so the Egyptians use this or make this, and then the Mayans, they like make like up and then in, and eventually it makes a pyramid too. So, I mean, if we're bringing it back to the point of this whole thing, what was Stan Lee supposed to do? Invent new shapes and colors? What? So Stan Lee stole the idea of, of Deadpool, because Deadpool's colors are red and black, and so he was studying Elegua. Man, ain't no Stan Lee studying no Orishas? Really? You think he was inspired by Deadpool? Or you think that Storm was inspired by Oya? It's a complete coincidence. Anything more is... And he created the X-Men in the 60s during the civil rights, and that was the whole, instead of skin colors, mutant powers, and they were ostracized by society and whatnot. That's what the heck he was going for. But I can go on and on about, oh no, so Orumila's color's green, so obviously the Hulk is really disguised and it's really Orumila, but it was stolen. You could literally say that about anybody and just connect dots that are not there. I could say freaking, I don't know, Batman was stolen and is really a cover-up for IGA, the witches, because they own the bat. Yeah. Let's see, what else do I go on to say? Yeah, so this dude, did I get to that? Oh, okay, so I continue, my bad. So it doesn't mean that anyone stole anything. It just means, like, the similarities between faiths. It doesn't mean that anyone stole anything. It just means that people thousands of years ago tried to make sense of this still dangerous and developing world they lived in at the time. And believing in deities that look like you but have supernatural powers is a part of that process of human understanding and navigation. So breathing underwater, being super duper fast like Elegua or Mercury, or being able to shoot lightning out of your hands like Thor or Chango, or being the head like Odin and Obatala, or being the owner of the sun, Olorun, versus Kukulkan in the Mayan pantheon. You know, the friggin' who else? You know, Obatala owns the monkey, so what? That was stolen from India from Hanuman, or no, that Hanuman was stolen from Obatala. You know, these people ain't have no contact with each other. Very rare, and it's convenient how things are stolen when it comes from a certain people, but when it comes to Egypt, the Orishas, they actually come from Egypt, and it's spoken with pride. But when it's anyone else, you know, Thor actually came from Chango, then it's stolen. It's stolen. Well, I mean, you know, you could easily flip the argument and say, well, if you happily claim that the Orishas came from Egypt, then is that not stolen too? I personally don't believe that. I mean, there are more people more educated than me. I just say they come from Yoruba land. The Egyptians had their own gods. Egypt was literally, I have a whole video on this. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. I have a whole video how Egypt was like 2,000 miles away from Yoruba land. So how much connection they have like thousands of years ago, I don't freaking know. But I have a video on that. So this dude is straight doing mental gymnastics, in my opinion. Tell me what you think in the comments below. This guy is reaching to the max and putting together things that are not there. If this guy were reaching any harder, he would be this guy.
It's big enough to get your hand right up inside. Stuff the shit out of it. I cook it with all the giblets, the penises and the ginies. Get that right on there.
So, I mean, that's it. I mean, this guy is just straight reaching and trying to force ideas like this guy is forcing himself on that roast chicken. He's just forcing dots that are not there. If you disagree with me, please let me know in the comments below. I'm very interested in what you guys have to say. He continues on. I don't want to make this video too long. It's already longer than I anticipated it to be. I just think it's ridiculous. But he also goes on to say stuff like this.
Of spiritual protection. When we talk about a guardian angel, the guardian angel concept comes from the ancestors. And that's why angel and ancestor begins with the same antecedent, the A-N. Okay? So our angels...
Before I forget, there is actually, quite interestingly enough, I had to write this down. So there's a man by the name of Joseph Quesada, who at one point, because he worked with Marvel and DC, he became Marvel's editor-in-chief. That's the highest position anyone could have in those kind of literary positions, like in newspaper places and book places. That's the highest. And he, on the topic of stealing Orishas and stealing ideas and the white man stealing these comic book characters, the editor-in-chief of Marvel at the time created a superhero group called the Santerians, in 2005, starting in a Daredevil issue. I'm going to show it up on screen. This guy happens to be a Cuban. Both of his parents are Cuban, and he was the editor-in-chief of Marvel, which is like, you know, that's like being the president or the CEO or whatever of a literary field. And I'm going to show. So there you have it. The Orishas are already in a comic book from a Cuban, from the highest position that you can hold in the literary sector of Marvel, because Kevin Feige is the president and CEO of Marvel as a whole. And then I guess for Marvel Literary, this guy was at the top. And I don't know if he's a Santero or whatever, but to have those characters at all, I don't know. If someone knows something I don't, then let me know. But I think it's mad cool that he incorporated a part of his culture in there. It's something about like these teenagers that they get like kind of superpowers or something of the Orisha when they call them. I'm not entirely sure. Like I know Ochun's power is she can control all liquids, even in the body. She can control all waters and liquids and stuff. That's super duper cool. So I really do not, I don't think anybody stole anything making these characters. I don't think Stan Lee, a 40-year-old guy in the 60s, was looking up Ogun to create Wolverine, because you could say the same thing about Magneto, who controls metal. You could say the same thing about Colossus, whose skin turns iron hard like metal. You could say the same thing about freaking Ogun and Juggernaut, Ogun and Hulk. Running fast, you know, Elegua runs fast. Quicksilver, the Flash, you know, flying, Oya, Ayao, Superman, Wonder Woman, all these people fly. You know, I think it's unwarranted, but a fun topic to speak about. I'm definitely into, you know, all the Marvel movies and stuff. I'm definitely Marvel over DC. Spider-Man's my favorite, so I had to include him on this one. I was thinking like, yo man, who the heck would I, you know, joke about when it comes to Spider-Man? So I found that clip, but I know you would probably say, oh, Spider-Man was taken from Anansi, from I believe the Ashanti tribe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's the Ashanti tribe. Anansi is like the spider trickster god of that particular pantheon. So I'm like, yo, Spider-Man. So I don't think anything was stolen. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what you think. There's people asking me to do videos in Spanish. I am not fluent in Spanish. Yo no hablo español. Yo trato cuando yo necesito, pero a mí yo no hablo español. Discúlpeme, okay? So, God bless. And like, comment, subscribe. Please, please, please. It really, really helps the algorithm, so that... you know, there's nothing like being able to make a living off of your passion, and you know, having this channel is my passion aside from making actual music videos. Okay, so peace out, bendición. Let me know what you guys think. Peace.